They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
A Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the 2023-2024 APTA Tour presented by Volley. We are live from the Short Hills Club in Short Hills, New Jersey, bringing you the 2024 Short Hills Grand Prix, which is the 13th stop on the 23-24 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors Volley and Fusion, and local sponsors Corient, Maple Crest Ford, New Jersey Men's Platform Tennis Association, Spiro, Harrison, and Nelson, Paper Ribbon and Wrap, the New Jersey Flex League, Club Pilates, and Smith Chiropractic. I'm Steve Sullivan with Brad Easterbrook, bringing you a men's quarterfinal match of Johan de Randt and Mitchell versus Bostrom and Randt. Brad, welcome to the live stream, and what do you see out there?
Well, Steve, thanks so much. It's a perfect day. What I see out here is a perfect day for paddle and a place that is just brimming with excitement, and people are all around here. It's pretty much one of the best environments of the season, as this tournament has about 464 players in it, using about 16 clubs, so it's just all over New Jersey. And as these players get ready, I'll do a quick job introducing them on the court. On the top left of your screen is soon-to-be Hall of Famer Johan de Randt and his partner Stephen Mitchell to his right. All right, and on the bottom side of your screen in the gray hoodie is Martin Bostrom, and his partner in the blue shirt is Philippe Rams. And it's a great match. You know, Rams and Bostrom had a tough match in the round of 16 against Broderick and Palmer, three-time national champs together. All right, so we're getting underway here right away, and Martin Bostrom to serve. Yeah, it should be interesting, Steve. You know, Rams loves to blitz and attack and move forward, and Bostrom loves to strike the ball, but it's tough to always blitz against Mitchell and de Randt. And there you see Bostrom go for a cut finisher, which he has. Very good one, in fact. Nice dig, but can't come up with it. The key is really just coming down to who's going to execute here, and whether Bostrom and Rams, I think, are going to be able to play disciplined paddle enough. It's a tough match any way you slice it.
Yeah, you know, the challenge, looking at the draw, Bostrom Rams against Broderick and Palmer in the last round, long three-set match. I think 6-3 in the third was the ultimate final. So not that endurance or sort of athleticism matters in a day like today, but I think disciplined, patient paddle. Let's see how this match starts off. Obviously, Johan de Randt and Stephen Mitchell aren't playing as much of a schedule as they typically do, but obviously their level, they're still the #1 team in the country. Every tournament you walk into, I think they're the team to beat.
No question. I mean, they have not, it should be said, they have not won a tournament yet. I think they have 3 finals, but haven't been able to close one out yet, but still the 3 finals, good results. And there in that last point, by the way, you saw Mitchell blitz, and they're gonna have to watch out for that. Both these players can blitz, offense on all sides of the court, primarily forehand dominated offense for Mitchell and de Randt, but they move so well and lob so well, they set it up and know what they're going for. So there's a great start for them.
Yeah, a couple mistakes, a couple discipline point, and the nick at the end helps.
Yeah, great shot there. And, you know, we were talking about all the clubs they're using here. It's literally a who's who list. Every single club in this area for this tournament, they have a 95s, they have a 105 tournament, they have a women's B, a men's B, a Grand Prix plus a men's open. So there's just a host of tournaments out here that they are playing today. That's part of the energy that's sort of out here at the Short Hills Club. You know, all these players are coming by now. They're all ending up here. They got actually kind of a party scene out front. It's music blasting, some people hanging around, having a couple of drinks, and just watching a bunch of great athletes go at it.
Yeah, I think as I looked at the draws from the B and perhaps the Open, those later rounds also come back to the Short Hills Club late in the day, and of course all the losers of those draws are anxiously, probably looking for a meal and looking for a great wind down to watch some great paddle.
Yeah, and today is literally a veritable who's who out there. And the difference between getting into the Grand Prix tournament or the Open tournament really comes down to ranking points. But you're seeing in the list of people who are in the Open tournament today, Jeff Morneau, a former top 4 seed at the Nationals, he's out there playing today in the Men's Open tournament, plus, a host of players across. This has been the most stacked draw of the year so far. And it's really just all sort of a testament to the great job they do here at Short Hills and the time of year that it comes. It's just a short bit away before we hit. It's 1 month to Nationals, and here's the last push beforehand. We're seeing Mark Powers out here, having played only 1 tournament all year. You got to call him to replace Juan Araya, so he's out here gearing up. And he's playing with Graham McNerney. That's our other streamed quarterfinal here, so it's just a who's who out there.
Even the 95 event that was yesterday, I think a number of players, I think Martin actually played the 95 plus yesterday. I believe Sven Burst played the 95 plus. So this is more of a festival atmosphere than just a standard tournament, right?
Absolutely. And there you see Martin Bostrom. He's missed 2 backhands in this game. He's got a great backhand. It's actually one of the better ones in the entire game. He, just missed a couple there. There were decent swings. He's missed 3 now. And ball striking is actually he's one of the best ball strikers in the game. And if he doesn't write that, obviously it's going to be a quick day for Bostrom and Rams. They're not going to be able to compete in this match. They're going to need that shot. So all the breaks right now, and there's a lead court winner from Randt, who is, by the way, sporting some super cool shades. Actually, I was chatting with him a little, just trying it out. Not a new sponsorship he has, although it could be possible, but it's sort of a light thing. It gets to dusk, and sometimes, I had an eye appointment yesterday, and I started wearing. He's like, "You should wear more sunglasses, my guy." So I was wearing them around today. People were like, "Why are you wearing sunglasses?" And now Johan's got them out there, Randt, and he's been testing them out all tournament, and he said it's been good so far.
Yeah, it looks good, and they seem to be working so far, but they're getting a few gifts early on from Bostrom and Rams. So this is, I think, the game where they have to slow it down and try and just get their feet underneath them and find some pace into the points.
Yeah, the one thing you really don't want to do, if you want to have any success against these guys, against Randt and Mitchell, is you got to have them make give them a few errors. You give them points to them. It's a hard day out there because they will make a few errors, but you have to make them work for it. Once you give them a few and they start feeling free and they get a chance to, just get a free point back at you, it's a rough go against a couple of front runners like this.
And we have Johan and Steven wearing their Boston Pickleball Club t-shirts. I think that's one of their new business endeavors in the Boston area.
Yeah, we should note the last tournament we did also, if most of you remember, it was in Detroit, and Rams, and he played with Bentheim, who's also from New Jersey, but Bostrom had dislocated his finger, so he's actually playing with taping 2 fingers together. He said it's not bothering him, but when I saw him, I gave him a, sort of an exuberant high five, and he was like screaming in pain and basically yelling at me for that. So it definitely is bothering him to a degree. He says it's not bothering him while he's playing, but so far the execution hasn't quite been there yet.
Well, I got to tell you, I've seen the video of Martin falling and hurting his finger about 78 times on Instagram. So
is it going viral, Steve?
It is going viral, and I unfortunately have to admit that I've done the same thing. He sort of caught a toe on a serve, and just his whole body went down and caught himself with his hand. So I have to sort of agree that this is not a small little injury of his finger. He definitely took a whack when he went down.
Yeah, and the fact that you watch it 78 times is leading me to believe you find it quite amusing, don't you?
Yeah, maybe I've animated it.
What do they call that, Schadenfreude, where somehow it makes you laugh or you take pleasure in like somebody else's pain? I think it's like somebody was telling me the other day about it. It's become a term that's flying around the internet these days.
There you go. So here we go. We have a much more sort of methodical point. Certainly some offense, but Bostrom and Randt are clearly trying to, reduce the errors and stay in the point a little bit here.
All right. And that's what we talk about, Steve. There's just an error. He's just in the push overhead. But Randt and Mitchell, even at the top of their game, will give you a few errors. Look, it's impossible for anybody to play error-free. But they actually give you more errors than other players, right? The difference is, though, they're able to make so many good shots and put so much pressure on you in different ways that they make up for those errors. And that's why they're always a top seed at all these tournaments. But you can have moments in these matches where you can capitalize on some of these mistakes. But the key is you got to draw them out of them. You can't make your own, because if you add your mistakes up to their winners, and you combine them, it's usually a losing. See, like that one there is a tough ball. He's hitting a hard backhand from below the net. At best, he can hit a roller, right? That's going to land like 3 or 4 feet in. That's the best shot he can try for there. Personally, for me, I think he should just put it away for right now.
Yeah, certainly low percentage in a match like this where, errors are really going to put you on the back burner. I think you just have to hit that when you have it, and if you don't have it, just wait for your chances.
Oh, and then he's trying a quick short chip wide. Pushes it out.
Yep, just wide.
He goes for Mitchell there, who is wisely bailing on the court. And, just not a huge target. I understand going for the body there. Unfortunately, the ball travels out, and it's 4-love now for Randt and Mitchell. And I would say the balance of it is on the paddles right now of Bostrom and Randt just making the mistakes.
All right, certainly getting a little energy, whether you fight back in the first set or you start the second set off with a little bit of momentum. This is an important game anyway you slice it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. It's like one of these things where just try to get a foothold, get your first game, and just get some energy back and start playing points the way you want to play them. Right now I can't imagine any circumstances drawn up where we're saying, hey, we missed 7 drives, made 3, let's keep hitting them. They have to just build these points a little. Stop trying to force the winners that aren't necessarily there, but take your strikes when you get them.
Yeah, even in this point, you can see Johan 3 drives in a row, but it's really the 75%, 80% type of ball. He's not overhitting. He's driving, yet not really giving himself a low percentage drive. And obviously, he has the tennis and racket skills to, sort of make that decision. But this is a quick start that these guys have to figure out how to slow down.
That's a great lob and blitz there and a good call, by the way. You heard Bostrom yell, coming. He's letting them know that, yep, there you hear it again, coming. Yep. That Stephen Mitchell's blitzing on those good high lobs, and they were both good lobs to blitz on. And that's why your partner's got to tell you, when your opponent's looking up for the overhead, your partner's looking up for the overhead, he can't see the guy coming in, so you got to give him the warning. That was a great overhead there. I think good spin, a combination of spin, and it hit the seam. And just too much for Randt to handle on that one. All right, here we go, closing in on it. 40-15. (40-30). Quick return there for Randt. Erases 1 game point. And that's flying out, and there they go. Bostrom Rams on the board. And Steve, why don't you tell us about one of our great sponsors?
Volley is a proud sponsor of the APTA. As the first AI-enabled training experience, Volley modernizes racket sports by delivering the on-demand dynamic system for live play training and better workouts. Volley creates a community to connect pros and players while giving users personalized performance insights to track progress and customize their practice. Ask your pro about a volley lesson today, and for more information, visit getvolley.com.
All right, so Mitchell serving here, up 4-1. Great start from them. First game in there for Bostrom Rams. They're just trying to get their feet underneath them and start playing the way they know they can. You know, Bostrom Rams, when they got together a couple years ago, the firepower, the talent, you would think the Bostrom drive is going to set up a bunch of blitzes for Rams, and it's true. The biggest key is always just discipline and staying through the whole thing. But in terms of talent, ball striking, and the ability to do all the shots in the game, Bostrom Rams have it. And the ability to compete in this match and win this match is there for them too. But right now it's just a question of execution. You know, I think Bostrom's at this point maybe missed as many drives as we made, and that's not going to continue, but you can see just the amount of basic mistakes they're making right now. And some days you have better days than others, but they got to find their drives right now.
So Steven Mitchell and Johan both use this, top spin underhand serve. And I think as the receiving team, sometimes your eyes light up and you see this big ball that you want to take a strike at. But I think they've missed 2 out of 3 this game. And at the end of the day, you got to put the ball back on the court.
Yep, 5-1, and I think that was 2 or 3 missed returns and just a good off-pace overhead there by Mitchell. That was perfect. Stick, and I like that from Bostrom. He communicated on whether or not Randt was following his drive through into the net. Once he tells me he's not coming, sort of frees Rams up to hit a no pressure drive. He doesn't have to do more with it. And that's a great idea, and I think more players should actually start doing that. It's only worked its way partially into the top of the men's game. Most guys play those shots in transition with feel. But I think the communication will be an aspect going forward for most teams. That's wide.
That was a one-handed backhand, wasn't it?
Yep. Took a heavy little spinner there. And of course, the party here and the live streaming does not stop here at Short Hills. It's going most of the night. We got, after this bout of quarterfinals, we got women's semifinals after this, and a couple of amazing heavyweight battles in there. So that'll be coming up right after this at around 6 o'clock, or as soon as these matches are over. Not surprising in the women's game, the top 4 seeds are all through, but Morgan Sikora had a real battle against Alexandra and Lalich in the round before in the women's quarterfinals, winning 7-6 in the third. I was watching that match; it was tremendous. So
I did as well. Lalich has the biggest ground strokes I think that may exist in the women's game, and it was a little bit of an up and down match, but that third set was really high level battle, and I think they were looking for the upset that just didn't come.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you can't fault any of the players in one direction or another. It's just they battled, and it was just so. Morgan and Sikora are really good gamers. They've had a number of multiple comebacks in 3 sets this year, and they are just out there. You got to put them away. So it was a terrific match, and those women's semifinals are going to be fascinating and terrific matches as well. It's a great cut drive off the screen there. See Randt playing that off the net. Usually he will go in or bail, and that is the toughest place to play it from. He's playing it just in front of the service box, and there's a good look there for Rams, and they pick it up. So 5-2 now. So take
All
away
right,
that.
we'll be right. Yeah, we'll be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by MyPaddle.
Well, Steve, I think we're actually going to continue on because it's 5-2
Okay.
now. So you're going to hold that thought, and we'll be right back in a second after this is over. But, yeah, so they go in there. So 5-2, and what I was saying is Rams is just like he's hitting that backhand drive there. And normally Durant he'll trail back for that one. And it's surprising to see him try to play it from the service line area. All right, so 5-2 now, Durant.
Little bit of momentum, yep.
Yeah. Something, yeah, outside of the 4-love start, Boston Rams are right in there, but obviously you give away that many games. The key is now to keep this momentum going and keep playing the way they are now.
So, Brad, we're about 3 or 4 weeks away from the Nationals. The country club in Brookline, Mass. is hosting this year. And we talked earlier about the depth of this draw. This is the last Grand Prix heading into Nationals. Everyone's here except Jose Salazar and Alvi Regalado, which are really the team, perhaps the breakout team of the year, but maybe also the team of the year. This is really the test to sort of see where everybody stands in that ultimate trophy that everybody's looking for.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, there's a couple more weeks of tournaments. We'll be back actually next week in Indianapolis, I believe. There are a few more tournaments in between, and we'll probably end up seeing maybe Mark Powers get out there a couple more times. Not sure if he has a partner yet for Nationals, but I think he does. We'll see where he falls into shape. And it's going to be interesting this year, too, because a player like Mark Powers will end up being a floater in the draw because he hasn't played all season. He has no points. Whoever he plays with, he's not likely to finish in the top 8, but it's possible if he plays a couple tournaments before that. So it's last-minute adjustments, where they're going to come. Some of the teams are pretty locked in. The Humphreys, Assis, Koenig, Durant and Mitchell probably locked in at first. Regalado, Salazar are going to be a top 4 seed, I think, also at this point. Although I'm not sure because even now, with all their great results, and they're finally winning the result last year. I have to check where they stand in the rankings because it's going to be a battle for that top 4 seeds.
One of the things you notice with Durant and Mitchell is how efficient they are with their movements. They're really patient and calm. Oh, went right at him.
Yeah, it's a great
They
shot.
really, yep.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, they're efficient and calm. Yep. Go on that point.
Yeah, they not only conserve energy, but they sort of, are one step towards the place they need to be. They have so much experience, they sort of see the point playing out in front of them. But a lot of people watch them for the first time and really think they're slow and they're not moving, they're not as athletic. But the reality is they just have a way of sort of conserving, and moving to the right place. It's really nice to watch.
Too bad there. He tries for an offensive volley through the middle. All right, so quietly, Bostrom and Rams are down 5-3 now after being down love 4. So big difference from the start. Not with a lot of fanfare, just a few less errors, and then actually getting a few errors here from Randt Mitchell, and then just starting to execute on some of the drives. That's a heck of a shot there from Durant, and he just holds it and snaps it, and he catches him off guard. And the placement was just sublime right there, right on the line. All right, so a couple of set points here for Durant and Mitchell. Oh, top of the net and into the chest of Durant. Great shot there from Bostrom.
Yeah, he sort of, obviously got the left court to help him, but he sort of took his time. He hit a very sort of steady shot.
Yeah, and unfortunately there's a fault, and there's the first set to Durant and Mitchell, 6-3.
So now we will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by MyPaddle.
Ready for a whole new training experience? Welcome to Volley. At Volley, we've developed the first AI training system for racket sports, providing pros with the advanced teaching tools they've been waiting for, and giving players a new way to level up their game and enhance their time on the court. Ask your pro about a volley lesson today and learn what Volley can do for you. We'll see you on the court.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Short Hills Club, bringing you the 2024 Short Hills Grand Prix. Beginning of the second set, we have Stephen Mitchell serving. Brad, what's your biggest takeaway from the first set?
I mean, I'm glad the way Bostrom Rams were at least able to kind of get into it. Still a little quick and a little loose for me in spots, but, they basically started, I think, missing maybe 80% of their drives in the first couple of games, sort of like that. And they cleaned it up a little, and it's gotten better, but that's really been the story of it right now. They're just not executing their offensive balls, and without that, it's tough for them to put any pressure because Randt and Mitchell are still attacking with their returns, and that's wide, so misses here. What's funny is, I don't know if I'm sure you do remember, Steve, back in the days, the early Federer days, I'll bring up some tennis analogies, it felt to me like sometimes, this is not necessarily the case here at all, but people would go up against Federer when he was just dominating the game, and they would just be like happy to be playing him. And I felt like sometimes they could have played better or more tactical, but they were just like, he's so good, And I feel like sometimes for Randt and Mitchell that happens too. You play him and it's like, it's a hard one to win, and because you have to play such a disciplined and focused match. And if you don't have that attitude or belief right away, that's what it starts with, really. I'm not saying Bostrom Rams don't have that, but it just starts kind of there. How are you going to play against these guys?
Yeah, it's a lot of respect. Sometimes it's probably early on a little too much respect, and you have a little, butterflies that you don't normally have. But it seems they've loosened up a little bit. And as you said, we've called a couple of Randt and Mitchell matches in the past. They will give up some mistakes, and if Bostrom and Rams can sort of tighten up their play, this could get tight. 3-set matches are also a little bit of Randt and Mitchell's sometimes forte early in draws. So let's see if we can get a turnaround here.
Yeah, what's interesting about this, we saw Bostrom hit, that's a beautiful ball there. We saw Bostrom hit a cutter in that first game, and he missed it. And I don't think we've seen a single cutter from either team since that time. And both these teams have it. There we go. It is unique to say something and have it happen immediately after you say it. It's some sort of law. There's a switch in the backcourt. Always have to watch these guys. That's their most common move. They prefer returning with Randt on the deuce. And that's a way deep in the court drive there for Randt. He's 4 feet behind the baseline. Tough one to make, and a small window to get at his feet. So they prefer returning with Mitchell in the deuce and Randt in the edge, and then he switch in the middle of the point. Again, see, he's going for the perfect shot. And even if he makes that dink there, do you think he wins the point?
No. Yep.
He gains a little advantage, and because he's putting it low, and clearly Philippe Rams is exceptional at the net. But why not just lob volley that ball and get back to playing the right type of tactical match you want, right? Instead of going for the perfect ball that you like in the miss. If he lobs volleys that, he's going to make it 9 times out of 10. That dink volley, he's going to make 5 out of 10, and he's only going to get 20% more out of it. So it's just tough math. That being said, I would have tried the dink volley too.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
All right, it's a big point here. See if Bostrom Rams can sort of start off with a 1-0 lead. So they're not shy, but they're a little bit sort of restrained in some of the shots they're going for. And there it is.
Bostrom Rams, they lead the second set, 1-0. Randt Mitchell won the first, 6-3.
Yeah, and if they keep this match tight and they do what they need to do and just execute a little better, then that miss that Randt made earlier in that game, remember when I said he was 4 feet behind the baseline, he's trying to hit a perfect ball at the service line? That type of miss will matter. But if you make 2 more, mistakes, then they don't. They cancel each other out, right? So they just keep playing tight and disciplined. They're right in here, and they can easily get this set and take this thing to 3.
All right, Martin Bostrom serving here on the near side.
That's a quick little down the line drive. Nice quick forehand volley there from Bostrom. Got to watch his line there. Wow, what a lob off that shot into the crease.
I think those are the balls that the viewer doesn't realize how many different directions Steven has to turn to hit that. Oh, they just ran into each other.
Yeah, the problem was, Mitchell wasn't sure. Randt easily, actually, I think, had that. But Randt was sprinting back, and they had no communication between the two of them. And they just on top of each other. No chance to make the play. Terrific ball. That's one of those things where you think you can slide it around Randt, and he's just got, for years people saying he has extendo arms. Just crushes that one. All right, so Bostrom Rams take a 2-love lead here. I like this play, though, from Bostrom, staying back on the return, because his first drive off of their drive is probably better than the first volley off of their returns, and it's just a better option for him. So I love that as an idea and a play. Success rate is higher for them with that. Smart play against Randt.
And sometimes not giving the receiver a target makes them think a little more about placing the return. So I like the play as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely, that's also the case. And in this case, too, it's also just playing to their strengths more than the other way around. Bostrom's strength is as a striker more than it is as a volleyer. He's not a bad volleyer, but he's not known as a volleyer even specifically. And his ball striking is just really good, generally speaking. That's out. Yep, great eye. Bostrom making the call, used, not sure. He's led to make the choice, and good choice there from Rams. And now it's 2-love. So it's a bit of a night and day. You could say they almost kind of gifted those 4 games, Steve. Right in the beginning to get down 4-love. A couple of good plays.
But since then, right? They're up 5-2.
Yep.
5-2 in games since that point. So
Absolutely.
Different match.
Totally different match. And it sometimes takes a minute to get back into something or to get it going from one to the other. We know that Mitchell and Randt had a 6-2, 6-2 match in the round before, in the round of 16, whereas Bostrom and Rams, went toe deep, 6-4, 6-7, and then winning this third set 6-3 against Broderick and Palmer. Nice move there, and that's what Rams can do. He can mix it up with anyone up there. And instead of bailing, he sort of holds in and cuts off. He anticipates Durant's volley, cuts it off, puts it behind Mitchell for the winner. Yeah, I love that play. It's too far, though. So that ball went beyond the net. That's going to be
right
to Bostrom and Rams. So let's clarify that for everybody out there. The rule is if you smash a ball into the screen, I think it should be love 30, I believe. Yeah, but we'll see what the umpire says. If you smash a ball, that was long, so it should be 15-30. Yep, 15-30 against the back screen, and it goes to anywhere on the other side of the court, on the side, you lose the point. So
you have to eat that, big acronym shot, as we say. You have to keep it on your side of the net, and chasing it. Martin was probably one step away from making contact, but maybe he smartly let it go.
Yeah, I'm not sure he even got there. It's actually,
yeah, he might not have.
Yeah, I don't mind the shot. Some people, it's controversial for some people. It's never bothered me. It's just hard to win points out here, so it's a way, as long as it's not used maliciously, as a way to hit somebody intentionally. But hitting a hard overhead can be a way to mix up the points. The problem is it's pretty much about 60 degrees out there, Steve. You know, I don't know what it's like in Baltimore where you are today, remote commentating, but
About the same.
yeah, about the same. So it's 60 degrees out there, and it's hard actually to even keep that thing from doing that, from bouncing back. You know, the rubber core ball picks up that warmer weather, and it's just the hard overhead can easily get to the other side of the net today if you don't actually get it right inside your opponent, hit your, you know, right at your opponent, where they force him to try to block it. That's a good one. See, that was a good chase. He put the extra spin on it, and that made the ball speed up, but it's not going to shoot as hard. You just can't hit that one as so flat that it's firing off the back screen.
You know, it's interesting, that swinging volley, the receiver from the backcourt typically has to evade the ball moving one way and then chase it with the spin off the screen the other way. So that's one of the reasons it's so effective, is it really makes the person trying to play the ball move two different ways. And the winner is typically based on just not being able to track it down, or they lose sight of it, or they get twisted up. But another.
Yeah, great shot at his feet.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's an error. He's pressing forward, and he's given the opportunity to hit that because he wants to speed the point up. But right now, all the speeded up things, and you saw early on in that game, they're starting to execute their drives now. So that time in that last game, you saw them go at Bostrom's, you know, side screen. He cut it off with a huge backhand down the middle, and there you see the Rams return. It's getting online, and it's just 3-love now for Bostrom and Rams. So kudos to them.
Absolutely. This is, as we know, whether, you know, we spoke to the paddle gods at 4-0 or they were listening, this is a game of momentum, and it's uncanny how a big lead in paddle is almost your worst friend. These matches go back and forth. Typically, matches settle and the better team digs it out, but this is a typical swing. So it's 3-0 for Randt and Mitchell, right? They need to just dig a little deeper. They've started making errors. I don't think anything has changed except one team stopped missing and the other team started making a few loose errors. So 3-0. Let's see if we can maintain this or see something different.
And for anyone watching our other court, we have another live stream court going on right now, and Powers and McNerney, a very dangerous team and sort of floating in the draw today, are up 6-2, 2-love against Burish and Nunez, and you know, that's an interesting team up for today. And as I said, you know, McNerney's going to be playing with a Rai, just hurt himself right before this tournament. But great to see Mark Powers back out there, bringing all that he has to the table, which is one national championship and 3 other finals. So always been right in the top couple of the game. Oh, he goes at the body there, catches the top of the net. I can't tell if it hit him or not. I think it went long. 15-30? Right.
Yep.
15-30. See, there's a good read. And right now, you know, Steve, outside of those initial errors, like we said, you know, Randt and Mitchell might even have to start. I don't know that they think a lot like about changing their tactics here, because it is a different match than it was before. They're actually going to have to tighten it up a little bit here and wait for their right opportunity drives, just because they're, you know, down 3-love here in the second set.
Well, this is where you look at them and that slow play we talked about before, and their movement, efficiency, and sort of how they carry themselves on the court. This is where they sometimes look a little bit slow, and they need something to sort of turn their energy around. I don't know if it's a change in tactic or it's just, you know, they have everything from a skill perspective, from a shot perspective, to sort of change the direction of a match. That's just an unbelievable low cutter by Rams.
Yeah, and it's great to watch the technique of that. If you watch it at home and you can somehow freeze frame that, he's letting the ball drop. He's covering around the ball from the outside. Oh, that's a return by back. And he just carves it right in there, and it's a snowboarder, so he can't get that. He has to either choose to get it off the deck or, you know, make a very difficult block, and experiences tell him most balls will come off, but that one just died. Just perfect shot. See, now the ball striking comes into play. I mean, that is just a thunderous forehand there from Bostrom with a quick release. Yeah, there's no call. I think there's a dispute as to whether it was out or in. That ball was in by inches.
I mean, Martin caught it about a foot in front of his body and just labeled it right on the line.
Oh, wow. Fadeaway forehand ripper. Has the space to get it. I think if he missed it, I would have yelled at him for it. But when these guys, they all make their choices based on their skill sets. And, you know, he can make a shot from anywhere, you know, to be told. So I understand that. It's just a question of the score and other things that make it a choice. And there's just a unfortunate error. It was a good look. You know, he's pushed him into the corner. Now he's going to bounce it over his head quickly. Just didn't execute. So now the execution's fallen the other direction, and it's Bostrom Rams 4-love. Get out of there. And there he goes. He actually tried to tag him here. I don't know that he's looking for the comeback here. He might be just looking for the third set, because he could have rolled that in and gone in, but he went, well, it's not easy. Maybe he tried to finish the point with a, you know, a body blow type of drive. The other thing it does, in a strange way, it could be extremely frustrating what's going on right now. Release a little frustration, hit a hard one.
Absolutely.
And that's happened to me before, where things aren't going well, and, you know, the common wisdom is slow it down and just pick it up there. But I've actually sped it up and just been like, I'm going to rip these next two drives. Whatever happens, happens. And whether you make them or not, you sort of, whatever negative energy is, you blow it out through the system, and then you get back to it, you know, however you need to go. But in some ways, it's actually worked, you know, to play that sort of drive that you're just hitting it, you know, just whacking it.
So let's see. Johan looks a little bit more determined, and I don't think it's a chippy match at all. I think he just sort of went for the shot. He probably.
Yeah,
you know,
no question.
Hit the shot. He hit the right shot. He just missed it.
Yeah, I mean, the hard ball, he could have rolled it in there.
Yeah.
He went for the body to try to end the point right away. And also, like I said, it might have just been like, you know, I'm whacking this thing. You know, things aren't going that well. Let me see if I can turn the tables with something or just get some frustration out. So, you know, driving it hard at his feet, I have zero problem with the play, nor do I think it was a malicious play in any way, shape, or form. But the options, you know, the smartest option would have been to hit a three-quarter roller, just go to the net, you know, try to put it into the snowboard. That's out.
40-30.
All right. You know, I'm always mostly a believer in, if you're down 4-love or 5-love, try to play one or two games that you want to play them the way you want to play them to set the tone for the third set. Don't worry about winning the set. You know, just play the games that you want to, and whatever happens, happens, and set the tone that you want for the third set. The other argument could be, this is a rough one, let's get to the third set, and I'm going to dial it in now and not waste any more energy on this. So
That's right.
This is sort of the comeback moment for Bostrom and Randt. So they want to come back here and make the move. Well, they'll come back if they give it to us, but maybe they just want to get to the third and say, this is a tough one. All right, so another one of our great sponsors, Steve.
In collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from top-tier retail brands, all poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience complemented by custom online storefronts and swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise.
Yeah, so a tremendous difference from those first four games. And Bostrom and Rams down 4-love in the first set, but since that time, it's been basically, you know, whatever it is, 7 games to 3. So, you know, kudos to them for turning the ship. Durant Mitchell now finding himself in a similar hold. See if they can make a mount some sort of comeback in this set. I do think it made a difference for Bostrom and Rams when they were down 4-love just to get those few games. They didn't win that first set, but to just get it going. You know, I think the same would be good for Durant Mitchell. See how it works out here.
All right, we have a new ball. Martin Bostrom serving on the near court.
That was a tough one. Fadeaway flip winner. He's going for a big shot off his heels. Oh, good rip on the return. And I think Rams read it well, Steve. It was so hard he couldn't get out in front of it.
Yeah, Stephen Mitchell, if he puts his weight behind a forehand, he can put a level of energy in it that's tough to defend with your backhand volley.
Yeah, he can stick it all right, that's for sure. In fact, his returns is sort of like one of the engines that tends to drive this team. And oftentimes, in the past, it's been you have to be able to get the net every now and then against Durant and Mitchell. And they return so well that teams spend a lot of time in the backcourt, and then they start carving you up with the overheads. But so far, you know, today, we haven't even seen them attempt a cut overhead, have we?
We have not. Yeah, I was just thinking about one of the matches we called of the Philly Cricket when these two, Durant and Mitchell, played Salazar and Regalado, and it was really a master class in the cutter from Johan Durant. And you're right. For some reason, we haven't seen that shot yet.
Not one. And in the warm weather, you can cut finish a ball. You know, the ball will react and go in there. You can make it die. It is super warm. Oh, great hands there from Mitchell. He almost gets caught, but terrific job.
Good discipline there. You can see Philip Rams hitting that ball right at Stephen Mitchell with so much cut that he just sort of left it to move 2 screens over Johan.
Oh, he goes for the cut winner. And Durant, you know, just defends one more time. Bostrom actually coming at him with a couple of waterfalls are really good. And he tried to finish it there. He did it with like a kind of a half cutter. All right, so a little opportunity here, mini opportunity. Oh, he gets the reach. Bostrom's got to let that go for Rams, but that's the problem with switching the play to the left to the right. He hits that ball cross court, but he hits it right. He's trying to sneak it behind Durant, but he hits it right into his forehand. And the team has no time to switch at the net. And because of that, he's not sure, actually, if Rams is going to get it. So he reaches out, and there's the error. And there's another switch. Those are the dangers right there. When you switch that ball to the other side of the court, but you don't get it to the screen, it's always a danger. Whether you get away with it or not, it's a danger. Just have to make sure when you do it, it can be valuable if you can sneak it into the crease or make the guys have to think about it. But if you don't do it right, it often comes back to get you.
Hope a little bit of miscommunication there, but Philip had a great stretch to keep that ball going.
Yeah, but he had to hit a half volley, but that's kind of where we're going at. It started from the switch again, and he had to hit a half volley, a perfect half volley to save it. Now, the players at this level can do that. The point is, though, you can't do it consistently at any level. There's the cutter. That's a good play from Bostrom, digging that one out. Right at the crease, hard. Some great rollers, and another cutter. Just waiting for his moment, I think. That's just great playing. He gets him off his heels, hitting a snap roller. And, you know, I got every confidence in the world in the Rams drive, but off his heels with those guys at the net, not their best option. So 4-2 now. And, you know, clearly nothing's a waste of energy. They're starting to actually pick it up. I don't know if does it notice that with it. You think that it looks like that way to you, Steve? They're sort of like ramping up their energy.
Oh, absolutely. I just think, I mean, even these rollers that Stephen Mitchell's hitting, it just seems they're playing. Oh, just flipped the top of the net. It just seems there's a little more intention with their shots. The last game we saw Johan, in one of the points hit 2 or 3 cutters. I think their energy level's up. The intensity of the point seems a little bit higher, and To your point on the last one where Philip Rams went for a ground stroke he has, the reality is he has it, but he was 4 feet into the green, leaning back. So it's really a risk reward, and I don't think this set's over yet. I think Johan and Steven are gonna take him for a run here.
Well, there's no question it's not over, and now we're seeing the errors creep back in. We're seeing the intensity from Randt and Mitchell pick up, and there's just a big forehand miss there. So slowly but surely, it's definitely not over. That's a good move, though. I got no issues with that. That volley is more difficult than people think. It gets missed more often than not. It's a great transition. Just a great job to get the volley back. And he's trying to go right back at his feet. Not so easy when you're moving forward and transitioning in. Yeah, this is a really interesting moment, and it's kind of like, sometimes it's been a little easy right now for Randt and Mitchell. They won their first one, they won their second one 6-2, 6-2, and only until this one moment in this second set where it's the first time they've probably been almost like kind of punched in the mouth, although they were apparently down 5-2 in the first round in the second set against Cobbs and Lubau. Were able to pull that in, but feels like they're ramping up their intensity here. They were able to pull that set out 7-5, which is not actually surprising, because when you get a kind of like punch in the face a little bit, it sharpens you up, right? Adrenaline starts
absolutely
going, and the score being down 4-love, it's like, all right, hey, that's like a punch in the face, and it wakes you up. Now they're seeming to get a little more energy here.
And obviously someone who's lived this game and breathed this game, and a big promoter and part of the growth of the game from Johan Randt. There's a big crowd. There's a big crowd out there, and I think not only does he have pride and a little bit of ego, this is also something that gives the player energy, right? He's a competitor. He wants to dig into a match and feel that juice that he doesn't maybe see every week and week in and week out like he used to a couple of years ago. So I think this is something the crowd's definitely going to help these two. All right, so point to hold.
Yeah, there's no question that Johan Randt has, completely changed around the entire scene of, the Boston area, greater Boston area paddle, and, platform tennis. Johan Randt has done a tremendous amount for platform tennis, and quite frankly, platform tennis has been great for him as well. So it's been just a tremendous, what is now a Hall of Fame career, and he'll have his Hall of Fame induction actually at Nationals on the Thursday before the event starts. So kudos to him, and a well-deserved recognition. Great stuff now, and they're picking up.
Yeah, he's given them every different look that they could have, and it's just incredibly intentional. You can see sort of has his methodology going from one shot to another shot to keep them guessing.
Wow. Yeah, and he holds the ball better than probably anyone ever has, and he's starting to work it now. But this is a great moment now also for Bostrom and Rams, because if you can withstand like a good 10 or 20 of those and hang in there and then take your strike, or just defend long enough, he might overplay. And that was just a great drive there while you catch him off the net, and beautifully done there by Bostrom and Rams, defending and then attacking. That's wide, yeah. 2 errors wide on this game, just looming large right now, as Bostrom and Rams have a chance for 5-2. That circle's right on the line. Scrapes it off the side wire. Good job there from Rams. Oh, sort half a swing from Bostrom.
Yep.
A big, big point.
You don't have to hit it as hard as you can, but you have to be intentional. I think Martin just laid off that ball a little bit, and it just didn't get there.
Oh, and there's vintage Randt closing off the net. He's an inch away from it, where he cannot volley the net. Any other ball gets towards his feet. Look at that intentional volley there. It's just Randt starting to do some work at the net. Great job anticipating the drives and tightening them up. See the intensity's ramping up here in the second set. As Bostrom and Randt made their way into this match. Outside of the first few games, it's incredibly entertaining now.
Absolutely. This is turning into a very high-level paddle match.
And see, one of the things that Bostrom has, and two of the off-pace drives from farther back. Oh, Randt Mitchell, what a switch now. If they can get this to 4-3 versus 5-2. You know, Bostrom hits the heaviest ball to me, like with the easiest swing. Like, there's no question Randt can rip a ball with a minuscule swing. Something about the way Bostrom hits it, it's like almost, lazy is the wrong word because it's not fair, but it's like so completely effortless, like it's like he's taking a stroll and he hits it hard or soft and you really can't tell.
Well, Martin's technique on his backhand is just so clean, almost Djokovic-like, just very simple, and it really, like you said, it gives him the ability to decide what he wants to do with it. It's the same stroke, it's the same compact swing. But yeah, Ram's ball has more spin, whether he's at the net or he's at the baseline. He's got a much heavier ball.
All right, so deuce again here. Right on the line, that volley. I actually like that shot, that low lob down the line to Mitchell. See Randt, he's starting to look to pick away, move him a little out of position, then pick at a corner, try to get a crease. Good recognition there. You see Bostrom creep up the line, pushes behind him. No!
Oh, goodness.
Oh, goodness.
Communicate.
Yes. Tough. And Bostrom did say me, but it was a little late. And
it was a little late. You're right. You're absolutely right. And it's, you know,
off.
It's down the middle. It's his forehand. It's Ram's backhand. Like, okay, maybe it's obvious. Communicate. Yeah.
Wow, and from that break, it's 2 faults from Randt. And point for 5-2 now from Bostrom and Rams. And there it is, 5-2 now from Bostrom Rams. That game had a little back and forth in it. Couple of, it really came down. There was tremendous shot making all in the middle and great shots, and then just, 2 faults, a missed ball here by Bostrom and Rams, and that was the back and forth. It was just, so crucial, those 1 errors here or there, those 2 faults right after you get a good break like that.
It's the classic 7th game of the set, as we always talk about in tennis, that importance of the 7th game, the 3-all game to go 4-3, in this case, 4-3 versus 5-2. I can tell you, Brad, I was on the verge of saying at 4-3, Randt and Mitchell not only came back, but it was their match to win. But you had said it, Martin and Philip, if they just keep grinding, keep defending, 20, 30 digs in the point, sometimes that's all it takes to sort of, mentally keep the match a little bit more balanced. But let's see what happens here. So big 5-2 lead now for Bostrom and Rams.
And as we mentioned before, in their first round, they were down 5-2. Randt and Mitchell were down 5-2 against Cobbs and Lubau, and Cobbs and Lubau had multiple set points, but they came back to win at 7-5. So, it's definitely not, I mean, clearly Bostrom and Rams in the driver's seat, but at this point, you could still easily see it go the other way. I've come up many matches where people come up to me, you see that, these guys are playing and they're up 5-2 against these guys in the match. And I go, let's wait to see what the final score is. And he comes back 7-5 for the, top team. The reason the top teams are the top teams is because they do that all the time.
So a quick 30-love lead. See if Johan and Steven are going to sort of dig in here.
Nice little cutter, and then he fires it into the back screen. It was a little strange because there wasn't even anything to hit at there. It's like he misread Bostrom getting out of the way, and he could have just pushed it straight down the line with no pace. All right, so triple.
Yeah, Martin bailed
point.
early, and there's the set. Well, quick turnaround. Looking forward to the third, and we will be right back in just a moment after these messages right here on the APTA YouTube channel, presented by My Paddle.
Ready for a whole
And welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Short Hills Club, bringing you the 2024 Short Hills Grand Prix. I'm Steve Sullivan with Brad Easterbrook. Here we go for a big third set, a tale of two sets, Brad. I don't know if I want you to make a call, but what have you seen so far?
I mean, it's exactly what you said. It's a tale of two. It's actually a tale of the two 4-game swings, right? First 4-game swing in the first set goes to, Randt and Mitchell, where honestly, if Rams and Bostrom were just missing drives. They were missing a good 60% of their drives they were striking. They've cleaned that up. They've made their comeback, and since that moment, they've had the better of the match. They got a 4-2 in this, 4-love in this one, and Randt and Mitchell were mounting that comeback, and honestly, 2 faults in a row just derailed it. They had game points to come up to 4-3, and we were talking a little off air, and you were about to say at 4-3, this thing goes to 4-3, where Randt and Mitchell just win 3 games in a row. And you're putting your money there. I know you are, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is people who have coached, competitive tennis players, or in this case, paddle. Sometimes you do a post-mortem after a match, and you try and explain to the player those really 1 or 2 points, and it's hard for the player to realize the importance of a point or the momentum swing in a point. I honestly think that's what we saw. We could have very easily seen, this Steven Mitchell, Johan Durant turnaround, and 2 faults took the air out of their sails completely.
Yeah, and it just turned right there, and it went from being, 4-3 with them mounting this huge comeback, and we could see their energy ramp up and their intentional shots ramp up, and to a quick, and then when they got down 5-2, that last game went in a heartbeat. So a quick 6-2 turnaround from there, and now we're on to the third, so we'll see what battles left, but clearly Bostrom and Rams have cleaned up a lot of the mistakes they're making, and they just started executing, and then Randt and Mitchell are starting to get more intentional, so I expect this to be a great set as long as everybody stays on task. So, but 40-love now.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but Steven Mitchell jogged back, hit that serve at 40-love, and as he jogged back, Johan did a little bit of jumping in place. So these two, I'm sure they exchange at least 1 word over the changeover, but I can see a little energy. These two want this match. They're not going to go away. So let's see, 40-love.
Yeah, to me the key is, that's long. Yeah, just out. Good hold there. Start that set from Randt and Mitchell. And it's been only a series of swings so far in this match, right? So I'd love it for this set to be that kind of back and forth affair where it's tight and the moments get tighter. It's really been a question of execution and errors from one side and the other guy's capitalizing on it and going back and forth. I don't expect that in this set, but you know, it's all bets are off essentially. So Bostrom here to serve. He's been doing the serve and stay back and looking for the drive on the first ball, which is a good play for him because this strike from his is just, it is his #1 play. Rather than facing the Randt return with the volley. And when you face the volley too, you also are facing a possible blitz. So it takes two things away. You know, first you have to make the volley, and then you have to make it well enough so that if they don't blitz, so if they're blitzing, they can't kill you on the next ball. So when he stays back, he has the option. He's taking those two things out of play action, not just one, but two.
And obviously the returning game, you talk about Stephen Mitchell's return sometimes being a big part of this team. Obviously Johan Durant can return as well. So you're right, it's a risk reward, and Martin is so confidently steady from the baseline. You know, he hit that roller in this point to sort of work his way back in. It's actually the more probable play.
Yeah, it's funny, we talk about, I was mentioning the Mitchell return being, oh, geez, goodness. He just misfires on that side back overhead, trying to move him to the middle. And this is really what it's going to come down to, just the lack, I fault nothing there except he just missed it by a mile, so it's sort of a mental blip. You know, stay focused, hit the right shots, keep doing it, execute. And that's where this match is going to come down to it. But what I was saying about Mitchell's return is in the ad court, it's definitely generally harder to return. The serves are, from most righties, are much better into the ad court than they are in the deuce court. And for most matches, you know, the guy in the deuce court, you can count on more good returns. It's just an easier place to return from. And Durant's return over there is pretty much exceptional almost all the time. And you never know what you can get out of the ad guy if you're facing some tough serves over there. And Mitchell's return, oftentimes, he gets more of them than other guys do, and it just drives the engine of the return game for them. And, you know, whereas some guys might only get, like, say, a 30% good return on it, he's getting 60% good returns on it, and that's just a massive differential.
Absolutely. All right, let's see if Martin and Philip can dig their way back here. Good serve there.
Yeah, Bostrom's got a huge serve, and again, it's that effortless heavy thing. He bangs that one in and that's out. That was good. It looked out to me. I don't know. Maybe I need Johan's glasses. I need Johan's glasses.
Look back from here.
All right, so just in from our other court, Powers and McNerney through in 2 sets and looking sharp. Yeah, a good battle against Nunez, and who fought in the second set to get back into it, but tough. They were a tough team. Yeah. So 6-2,
like you said,
6-4,
a floater with Juan Araya not playing this week. A really interesting new look at a team, certainly floating.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, we can call Powers a floater, but he's no floater. He's a force out there. Yeah, oh, what a rip there! But almost too good a rip. In a strange way, sometimes you hit that heavy drive. Bostrom takes 2 steps back, easily transitions. They never lose the net, but still. Your hope is when you hit that good laser beam, actually, that the guy tries to volley it. You know, and that's what smart teams do. They know when to bail and when to go back. You really never just want to reach for volley. That remain true at every level. Most of the balls that are getting hit, you can transition back and get. When you are reaching, oftentimes it's because you're losing control of your net play. You're overplaying the overhead to a spot, not hitting your spot. You can do it. You can be in position to make them. So it's going to be all the difference here, the execution as we go into this third set.
So big point, 30-40 break point for Durant and Mitchell to take a 2-love lead, but well done, patient point, and back to deuce.
Yeah, solid point. And they, you know, I can't say, I mean, that was a surprising error, but it was a good point from Durant and Mitchell. You know, it just Surprising here at the end. Oh, he's got some troubles. Good move, slippery little roller, and he hits it wide.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a question. This is what it's going to come down to, I think, in this third set here, Steve. You know, who's going to do that, right? And these little moments. Wow, he played it to be out. It bounced in, and what an amazing turnaround there from Bostrom Rams. Going to be down 2-love, and now it's 1-all. And again, you know, they have the break points. They have the advantage in the match. It's a missed lob, a missed overhead, and then a missed read, a play there, and these are the moments.
All right, 1-all. This is what you want. You want a tightly contested, you know, 1-all, 2-all, 3-all match. It'll start it off in a way we like, but this is an important game.
There's a perfect quick roller. He gets it on the inside of Ram's body, and Rams is quick. But he has to move inside first, as you were mentioning before, Steve, and then try to catch up to it. He can't do it. That's a great leave from Mitchell. Martin Bostrom is hitting up on a ball from lower than the net. Ball gets too high. He lets it fly.
30-15.
Oh, and there he takes the pace off it. It's almost the exact same return, but with half the pace, but it looks the same. And then
Yeah,
Rams
he
was
moved, and
stuck.
Ramps just didn't move.
Yeah,
He's
he
just
was
stuck in the mud.
Strange. And goodness,
40-30.
it's like a couple of mistakes. 40-30 now. Oh,
Goodness.
it's like that was just a rough game on both sides. They both tried to give it to each other, and Bostrom Rams succeeded more so, you know, because Randt with 2 faults and a ball there. But these guys are, it's just going to come down to the execution right now at the end here. Serve in the box, tighten up the overhead, the right shot.
You can see the teams changing sides, but look at the crowd. Both in between the two men's matches that are being live streamed and up on the deck here and in the stands. It looks like beverages are flowing. I can see some of the players that lost earlier enjoying a beverage, but really a great scene out here at Short Hills Club.
Yeah, you're right. That was a perfect viewpoint there. They got 2 temporary stands set up here. They have, like I said, just a complete party atmosphere out there. There's music blaring. There are people going, oh, big cut. He's right there. He's on it. He's got space. Just pushes it wide. It's a good look.
15-all.
All right. I do love the body language. Always, you know, Randt and Mitchell are always bouncing, still hanging in there. And there really is the psychology of it. Just keeping yourself going is such a big deal. Really high lobs there from Rams. He's just throwing them high.
And it's not a bad strategy for Johan to get the optionality on his cutter, his push volley. That the lower lob's probably a little bit easier to sort of navigate. So I like the idea, you know. And sometimes in the lights, right? This is a little bit past sunset, I guess. Oh, Martin just gave him a freebie there.
Yeah, freebie. He had a look. He was just late on the look, and as soon as he pulled the trigger, he knew he was way off on his timing. It was probably the only ball he got on the point. So that's what happens sometimes. You work over one player a long period of time, and it kind of slows the other guy down a little. It slows his reactions down. He didn't see a ball for 15 balls. And then he did get a look, but way late. Can't execute.
Good communication there.
Yep. You can hear him yell, coming.
again, doing a great job calling out the possible blitzing player. And blitzers are often throwing a feint too. Nice, gets him to reach for that volley, and it's just a beautifully placed ball.
All right, this is a tricky spot. Double break point.
Oh, that's a great lob. It just pulls him out of position, gets him reaching. Fake blitz again from Mitchell. Wow, 2 lobs right on the line at this point. Allow him to transition in. And here's where I think they're really just looking to do more damage now than they were before. He's breaking out occasional cutters, and there you go. Just these moments where you need to bear it down. So 3-1 now for Randt and Mitchell.
Yeah, this is the game that can get away from you. Is that a new ball? Yep, new ball. Nice and yellow, and trying to get a couple practice hits to make sure they get the feel for it right.
Right, every 7 games, that's 21 games total, so brand new ball here.
Yep.
I believe we have Mike Yakimski in the chair, one of the top APTA officials.
All right, there you hear a come on from Johan Randt. His view, straight up there.
Great view, great view. You see the glasses, but you also see him, maybe sort of talking to himself, giving himself a little bit of motivation, and you can see a little intensity, right?
15-30.
All right, 15-30. And these have been these moments right now where we've seen 1 or 2 things. It's been like, I can't say it's all bad choices or anything. It's just been a missed ball, a fault here in these moments. It's whoever's just going to tighten up these moments and execute, because it's, man, right now, clearly Bostrom and Rams, they don't have as much room being down 3-1. You got to really tighten this thing up and look for the right drives. They can, it's right there. It's been streaks, and you can't see Randt and Mitchell like taking it to him this set. It's really, and there's the paddle throw or drop from Rams. But I understand it because it's a big moment and you're just dumping an error out there. And that's been more of the story in the set. Would you say that like Randt and Mitchell are just carving him up or doing anything particular to him?
No, not at all.
A few less errors. In fact, if anything, Randt and Mitchell have given him a couple. But we're just making a few. 2 or 3 lobs out. We're looking to set these things up, and that's what it's about. There we go, some fortune. Can he dig it? Oh, beautifully dug, and then a half drop. Well done from Mitchell, good wheels.
And great patience. That drop shot towards the side screen, a lot of people try and charge it and pick it up off the ground, but waiting for that one, that one screen is, his dig was amazing, but it was a great patient sort of reset there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because Bostrom's play was more intentional than people think. It wasn't a drop shot per se. It was more like he was kind of baiting him to race up fast, and he was kind of pushing it to the side wire. But they still get away with that point. Not get away with it, they earned that point. It was a great shot. So. Oh, tough one. All right, Deuce. Yeah, that short, high backhand. He likes that chip. Kind of got stuck because when it hit the net, he wasn't sure where it was going to bounce, and it just caught him off balance. And there's an unfortunate shot, but a good one for Randt and Mitchell.
Y'all give me.
I wonder if an occasional blitz be warranted on the return of serve when Bostrom's returning. general, I advocate slower play often against Mitchell and Randt. That's a tough ball. He only missed
Tough
that.
ball.
Yeah, because he thinks it's going to hit the top of the net, or to be honest, maybe it did. It's hard for us to tell from our angles. And that was a tough one. All right, and as we mentioned, we are on all night here, women's semifinal action. Going on right after this with a couple of huge matches. Hannah Zabori against Morgan Sikora and Halbauer and Nicolescu against Elliott and Burish right after that. So our top 4 women's teams going on right after this match. And we're going to be on, I would say, till at least 8 o'clock tonight, and then coming back for more tomorrow with men's semifinal and final round, and women's final and men's final round action. So plenty out there. What a great shot there. And actually, I love that fist pump there from Randt and Mitchell. You don't see that from them that often. You know, they kind of go about their business. Some teams are always looking pumped up. You know, a lot of fist pumps. These guys, they just kind of, well, clearly
I like it.
they
I
act like
it.
they've been there because they have, but you know.
But it can be tough, right? What are they, you know, what haven't they won? What haven't they accomplished in paddle? Certainly Johan Randt going into the Hall of Fame at the Country Club in Brookline, you know, right before Nationals. Sometimes you need a little bit of different energy to sort of get motivated to win a match. You know, and it's not about I should win it, I think I can win it, I've won this match 17 times before. Hey, there's a, I don't know, 250 people watching this match. They want to win.
Oh, just misses the block there, and a big game from Bostrom and Rams to take that one, stay close here at 3-2. And another one of our great sponsors, Steve.
Yeah, Volley is the official sponsor of the APTA for the 23 and 24 season, backed by cutting-edge technology, including its unique vision software. Volley is the innovator of the first AI-enabled racket sports training experience that simulates point play. By enabling players and pros to record sessions on the court, Volley also delivers off-the-court player analysis and support, all from your phone. Takes only minutes to sign up. Ask your pro about a Volley lesson today, and for more information, visit getvolley.com. Well, I don't know if it was a must-win game, but it was an important game, and Rams and Bostrom found a way to win it. So on serve, 2-3, a third set that the level of paddle, you know, has been very high. There's been a couple, you know, periods of errors on both sides, but I can tell you the intensity seems to be ramping up, and I think we're going to be in for a nice last 4 or 5 games here.
Okay, waterfall in there, well done. That's a tough switch there. When you switch it to the other side, hitting the ball down, that's an easy layup forehand there. They're going to lose the net, but now they got to win it from the back, and they do. Good job. Oh, that is just a perfect waterfall there. Just dunks it right down, and Mitchell cannot quite get back for it. He's not sure where it's going to land. 30 love now, Bostrom Rams. Mini run, and Randt sticks a return. Yeah, Randt has gotten really good at hitting this long push from right there, low and through the court, almost always behind the service line. It stays low enough where it's not an easy down drive where your opponent can hit it at your feet. Good positioning there from Rams. I think he actually forced Mitchell to go for more, try to sneak it around him down the line in the high part of the net.
All right, 40-15. Martin Bostrom trying to level things out at 3 here.
Oh, reaching for that drive, not moving to it. Needs a whole nother step there.
Yeah, exactly. Stuck in the mud. He just stopped moving.
Yeah.
That's out too. And this has kind of been like, I wouldn't say it's the MO, but it's the interesting part of the match. These guys play these amazing shots one after another, and then we see one or two quick errors in these moments. And they're ready to write this thing at 3-all, and if they come back and lose this set, right now, this moment here is going to loom huge if they lose this game.
You know, you mentioned before about, changing direction, to use a golf term. Philip sort of short-sided that one, and he's so far back in the court, he's hitting it to the shorter side. He's going to be out of position. If he makes it, there's a chance he's going to be, hitting a half volley, or someone's going to take him further off the net. So I just don't understand the shot selection. That's a tough ball.
Yeah, it's a question of creating. I mean, for all these guys, I understand switching the play because you want to make the other guy have to look, and you want to be able to hit at their crease, and you want to keep them honest. But all the other mitigating factors that you talk about make it a tougher play, and I do agree with you 100%. I just know for some of these guys, they're just looking for that tougher shot, and it's just that balance that really makes a player. And if you have to say there's one thing right now about Randt and Mitchell who take that game to go up 4-2 now, about Bostrom and Rams, they're as talented as any team in there. If there's something that's going to make them not get to that next level, and the next level for them is the elite level, really. It's right up there with the Randt and Mitchells. It's going to be that. It'll be that, making that quite just too difficult a shot in that too difficult a moment. It's going to be really just that type of thing. So it's tricky, and that's the balance we always talk about. You got to make a few hundred good choices, and all the top players do. And it continues to be part of the game.
All right, just to do a scoreboard check here. So we are 4-2, Randt and Mitchell, love 15. Our scoreboard's a little bit out of sync here, but
Gil is on it. He is on it, Steve.
We are back to a critical game. It is amazing how the momentum shifted from, what was a 2 game point opportunity to tie it at 3-all. The momentum just changed a little bit. So this is now putting Bostrom and Randt on the defense that they got to win every point.
Yeah, and it's the same thing happened in that second two, though. Randt Mitchell making their run, 2 faults later, and then all of a sudden the set goes 6-2, right? We think it could be Randt Mitchell's set actually making their comeback to 4-3, but then all of a sudden it's a 6-2 for Bostrom and Rams, and it's really been the tail of the tape. But what a shot there from Rams, slamming that. It's a let cord for the snowboard winner there. Good strike there from Bostrom, 1-2. Picks the right side of his body, then the left. Great job, completely intentional. Oh, and a good move there. Short chip, and he feints a forward move. And to me, it looked like Randt hit a better volley than he needed to, based on the feint from Mitchell. From Rams. What a transition play there.
Good ball.
Boom, they're right back.
Philip Rams, you mentioned that off-pace slice that sort of changed things up both on pace and spin for Randt, and he missed the volley. Philip's also got that sort of slash backhand in the ad court off the side screen that's been pretty deadly. He hasn't had the opportunity to hit it, in about a set and a half. But that's, from having different shots, having different spins, having, giving your opponent a different look. Philip Ram has, like we said before, not only a heavy ground stroke, a heavy cutter, but he's got different spins that make people think.
Oh, without a doubt. He has every tool that you need. And no question about it, he's a very fluid player. He's also a terrific guy. It's really just putting the pieces together and continuing to make the right choices, playing under, in disciplined settings. So everything is there. That's just a perfect blitz and stuck. And that's what Martin Bostrom, he's staying back for it. Rams a little more confidence volley. He's going to serve volley some, but that one was beautifully done there from Randt and Mitchell. Here, you smack it low, I'll come in and volley it hard, right at his feet.
Yeah, and Steve Mitchell jog back. Sometimes, it's not intentional as part of the game, but it gives you a little bit of, positive mojo. And yeah, these guys are in it. They want this match.
Enough cannot be said about positive mojo. You're right about that. This game works in momentum as much or more than most games do. I mean, we got the Super Bowl coming up tomorrow, and San Francisco 49ers, miraculously are in it. Not because they're not a good team, but in both games they were basically down and slightly out. And in both times they just kind of gritted their way through it, and it's a lot of sports. It's a good move there. Vintage move from Randt up the wire. And that's why we say, Randt and Mitchell, 90% of their offense is forehand driven. They can do some things with their backhands, but 90% is forehand driven. They're just quick enough and they lob well enough. They know where they're lobbing it, and then they can move their pieces around. They also throw in the blitzes, and they get up the side wire so they can put their forehand into a play. And that's such a, it's not unique to platform tennis, but it's such a play because the court is small enough, right, where you can move yourself around to get the shots you need.
This is a very methodical point. Both teams realizing how critical each point is at this stage.
Nice. Great point there from Rams and Bostrom. Basically making no mistakes, right? And they're making Randt play a tougher shot, right? So that's the one ball. It wasn't a layup. Everything was just spot on. They didn't switch the play to get themselves out of position. And then finally Randt overshoots a drive. And then he gives them another. So perfect. 30-15 now for Bostrom and Rams.
Yep, just a little bit of a loose volley. It's that tough height, that lower, you mentioned it before, that lower, deeper lob is actually a little bit trickier to hit. And Martin just sort of pushed it a little bit too deep.
Yeah, when you think about the 2 points that Rams and Bostrom won, like solid, well, a couple of missed drives there from Randt, but it's been 2 blitzes and a missed overhead now for Randt and Mitchell, just like these quickies that they're getting here. The other points have been great. And even though Randt missed a return and, forehand on one of them, they made him hit 10 forehands before that, because they're just playing good, balanced play. Great cutoff there from Rams. Closing that as well as a lot of players. Oh!
May not have hit that clean, but it was a great stretch for Martin.
Definitely did not hit that clean. That was a good spot on that drive, but came up with it. It actually worked to their advantage. They almost didn't see it coming. All right, and there's a missed lob. Great battle there from Bostrom and Rams. And that break point back. And again, just the positioning of Mitchell. He's moving himself 3 feet behind the service line. The threat of the blitz is causing that miss there from Rams. Oh, he goes for a tough turnaround drive on the full stretch. And
yeah, you got to throw that up. You got to throw
to.
that up. And I think he just got caught off guard. Martin sort of showed his racket, but it was maybe the ball was right to let that go. And that serve's got to be out, right?
I mean, it wasn't. No, to me it looked like they all stood around and looked, waiting for somebody to call it. But you make that point before. It's got to be up, and it's got to be up. I wouldn't say he can't make a transition ball there, but he's reaching for that. He's off balance. There's a few things going on. And part of that's probably the reason why he hit it. He's not sort of engaged mentally on the shot because he was a little confused with the play before. But, you know, when Bostrom might have, you know, moved his racket a little. But, you know, it's a crucial moment now, and now they're down to the last gasp here. Obviously can't afford to lose any more here, but love 15, good start. And there's that sharp chip that you're talking about before, Steve. He's got a good one. He waits, the ball gets above the net, and he hits a sharp chip. He kind of holds it down on you. He works it in. He works in some finesse, too. And there's two quick errors there from Randt and Mitchell.
All right, love 30.
Make that
and
40.
A fault. So, yeah, love 40.
40.
Stephen Mitchell's sort of getting up a couple loose shots here and giving a little bit of life for Bostrom Randt.
Oh, I love that quick cut, and then he gets him spinning a little. Now he had him off the net, but he's still so off balance. Can't come up with that one. One back. Sticks that right off his hip, and he was trying to leave it at the same time. Just can't get his paddle out of the way. Bostrom Randt's hanging around. They got a hold serve here.
Hanging around, just an unbelievably precise ground stroke. You know, sometimes you watch as a spectator and you don't realize the intentionality, but you know, that's what we call that chicken wing. You know, he put it right on the right hip of Stephen Mitchell, and you know, I think he wanted to let it go. It was a big forehand, but at the end of the day, it's sort of tough to get your elbow, your arm, your paddle out of the way. So a great executed shot by Philip Rams, and they're not done yet.
No, they're not. And you're right. I mean, the combination of power and placement there, just too much for Mitchell. And that's your goal. You know, when you get that ball and you have them at the net, they're not in actually bad position, Mitchell and Durant. But if you stick it and pick your spot, you can force the error, and he did. That's wide. Oh, he's been using that play so effectively, staying back and taking the screen drive, just hits it wide. That's a fault. Wow, just been these quick little turns, followed by incredible shot making, ball striking afterwards. It's a nice move from Mitchell coming in there and looking for one volley. You notice he didn't stretch or anything at Bostrom's return. He was looking for a volley right on his paddle, or not at all. That's a great lesson for a lot of players. Oh, that's such a good lob. Oh! Come on, you earned that one. That is highlight reel right there from Philippe Rams. He saved that point, and he might have saved the match there if they were able to come back and get this. That is unbelievable.
Might have saved the match. He did save the match. These guys aren't done yet.
That's out.
Oh, he might have missed it. Oh, goodness.
All right, so double match point here right now. And as astounding as like these incredible shot making, that's been really it. The incredible shot making with the occasional miss, and it's just the little bites of execution. This is just coming down to a couple of points. And right now, Randt and Mitchell looking to close this thing out. This point I expect to be extremely tight. That's getting hit and ripped. Nice play, transition back from Bostrom.
And good for Stephen Mitchell to let it go, right? He's moving all sorts of different directions trying to come to the net, but at the end of the day, it's a much easier ball for Johan, who's at the baseline.
Good, smart overhead there. Not time to pull that trigger on that wide one. Keep it in the middle. That's just good, and that's out. Yeah, called out, and I think it was. And unfortunate way to win it, but what a great match there. Shot making was extraordinary, Steve. You know, just a couple errors in between.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great match. There were some up and down swings. There were some periods of errors, but it was ultimately the intensity you wanted to see in the third set. My only regret is it wasn't 3 out of 5, but we will move on. You mentioned there's more paddle to come. We have the women's semifinals coming, and then tomorrow a lot more paddle. So that is a wrap from Short Hills Grand Prix round of quarterfinal match. So
All right, stay tuned.
for more.
At Corient, we believe wealth management begins and ends with you. Because the more personal the solution, the more powerful it is. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And provide unlimited access to the collective and profound knowledge of experts across the country. It's time your wealth strategy was as sophisticated as you. It's time to join Corient.